Greetings! Welcome to the first share reviews of 2015. Yeah, well, that's the opening. So yeah, we're into January and February. Of course we are. They're the first. Well, we're into just January, aren't we? Let's stop mumbling around. It's January 2015. What I meant to say about January and February, traditionally very, very rich pickings for the year's films. A lot of the old last Oscar season, a lot of those films come out in Britain within these 2 months. So there's normally good stuff. Let's see how we go with it. And I've been to cinema a few times this week, so there's a few reviews here. I'm going to start off with a couple. I'm going to start off with a sip of wine, as custom. I'm going to start off with a couple of films that are so last year. Bloody last 2014. Rubbish. A long time ago. The first of these is Tim Burton's Big Eyes. It's been a while since Tim Burton put out a film. It seems a while. The last thing I seem to remember seeing was Alice in Wonderland. Can that be it? I didn't like Alice in Wonderland. I don't think anybody critically did. Money-wise, they did, because it made £750 million or dollars. I didn't like it. Yeah, and I'd started to, feel. Oh no, I saw Frankenweenie, which I did like. It was good. Yeah, it was okay. Big Eyes, though. Big Eyes is his most real film that he's ever done. I think there's barely a note of fantasy in there. Although the story is sort of borderline incredulous, but not actually when you analyse it. It's the story of Margaret Keane, nee Aldrich, who married Mr. Keane. She was a painter who painted these waifs with very, very big eyes, hence the title. And they were very popular in the 60s, I think. Pretty much the 60s, yeah. So she married this guy, and he is a git. That's not a spoiler. He's a real kind of mercenary, and he is a man who is a liar. He's just a liar. He's a con man, essentially. Yeah, that is not a spoiler. That's fine. That's fine. So yeah, it's Amy Adams plays Margaret, and she plays it brilliantly. She's very, very good. I can watch Amy Adams in anything. She's excellent. And Christoph Waltz plays the husband. Christoph Waltz of Inglourious Basterds fame. And he's quite good too. And the film is good. First off, I should say that it looks absolutely stunning. Well done, Tim Burton. Well done, his DP. Because it looks absolutely amazing. San Francisco looks so vibrant, so colourful. You know, the normal Tim Burton colour plan for suburbia, all these oranges and yellows and stuff, and they're all transported into a San Francisco of the late 50s, early 60s that is really, truly stunning to look at, and it feels very period. It's really, really nice in that way. And also, the film is really interesting it's interesting all the way through, but for about 2/3, there's some stuff going on. So what happens is, the story is that her husband, Christoph Waltz, starts to pass off her paintings as his, and they get very popular, and he really has her under the thumb. And there are some very interesting things to witness really here about what we do for love and how it sort of subjugates us in some ways, because we're willing to do what the other person says if they're convincing enough, and she's not particularly strong-willed. And so she goes along with it, but you can see her misery building, you know, and it's quite extreme what she goes through, lying to her own daughter and stuff. I don't think any of that's a spoiler. This is all kind of early stuff. And it's really interesting. There's some really interesting stuff going on there. So it looks great and it's interesting, but there's something about the story that sort of doesn't catch me on fire. I think possibly the main part of the film goes on a little bit too long, and then when things start to change, it feels a bit like it's unravelling into something like Fast, which apparently is a kind of it is a true story, and these things did happen. But I think one of the problems is Christoph Waltz sort of slips into this kind of Dick Dastardly come Jack Nicholson character. He's really going, oh yeah, on the phone, and it's a little bit odd. I liked it. It's fine. It's not anywhere near any of Tim Burton's best work, but it's better than Planet of the Apes, but it's not as good as Big Fish. If he's up against the bigs, and it's not nearly as good as Big Fish. But it's okay. I am going to give it... yeah. Well, I can't just do a chair in the middle, so we're going to have low chairs and high chairs. Big Eyes is a high chair. It's average, but it's the upper side of average. So, there you go. Second one, also released on Boxing Day, was Exodus. Exodus, Gods and Kings. Exodus, Saved by a Wave. Ridley Scott. It's hard to have a massive go at Ridley Scott when he's done... Well, I say so many, but when he has done some brilliant films. Alien is way in my top 10. Blade Runner, less so, but fantastic still. Gladiator, people love it. I'm not a lover, but I appreciate that it's definitely very good. What else? Yeah, the last thing I think he did that was really good was American Gangster. And you know, that's not a stunner, but it's very, very good. I really enjoy watching it. I think I'm a little bit out of shot here. But after that, what have we got? Body of Lies, which is okay, and we got Robin Hood, which is bad, actually bad. What's next? Prometheus, woo! Which, you know, on its own it might be okay. As part of the Alien franchise, it sucked. It just sucked. It's really bad. And then The Counselor, was that last year or 2012? Utter shit, real dog. Just pain, just shit. You're just wondering what's going on there. And then he's got this bloody thing, Moses, and it's not very good. It's not awful. It looks great. All Ridley stuff looks great, and this does as well. It's ancient Egypt. You know, it's the story of Moses. It's the story of Moses freeing the slaves. There's plagues, etc., etc. Everything looks big. But it's a film that struggles to be grand. If you're telling this sort of story, it should be grand. It should be theatrical. And it never is, really. I don't think I need to tell you the story of it. Moses is Christian Bale. Joel Edgerton, who I do like in Animal Kingdom and Warrior and stuff. In this, he plays the Pharaoh. He's the worst Pharaoh I've ever... He's the most Pharaoh. He's just like a bloke in a pub. And even if he was a bloke in a pub, you wouldn't look at him twice. He doesn't do anything Pharaoh. He just isn't a Pharaoh. Ben Mendelsohn's in it, which is good because he's the only one who's really knows what film this should be. He's really camp and really theatrical, and that's fun. Everyone else who's in it, Sigourney Weaver, Ben Kingsley, they pop up in it for about 2 minutes, and they just barely register. There's no investment in any characters. Aaron Paul's in it again, and he just sort of looks from the sidelines all the time. Christian Bale plays Moses. You're not really invested in him. He doesn't look like he suffers particularly. Rides around, meets God, who turns out to be a little angry hoodie, which is odd. The script is a bit clunky. Yeah, it's not great. Moses, gets told that he's shit. He pretty much takes a back seat. It's just not great. The visuals are fine without being ecstatic, except... which is why I called it Saved by a Wave. Towards the end, the Red Sea parts, that saves it. That is good. Loads of people die, and that's what I bloody came to watch the film for, to see fucking loads of people die. The plagues are okay, and there's a kind of natty way of sort of explaining them biologically. But in doing so, you're wondering if he's trying to say that, you know, it could have happened, or it wasn't God. It's a bit weird. But it's not a great film. It's just not good enough, Ridley. Where's the good one? Where's the next really good film? Come on. You've got it in you. Everyone knows you have. Just do it properly. Do it properly. Go back. Do your homework again. Do it properly. Right. Thank God then for January and Birdman. I just came out of Birdman not 2 hours ago. And I love the feeling when you come out of the cinema knowing that you've done nothing. You've just been in that film, just absolutely immersed in it. I thought about nothing else the whole time. I came out knowing I've been dazzled. Directed by Alejandro Iñárritu, who did Babel, which is on it, right? But Amores Perros, the Spanish film, loves a bitch. Which is really, really good. Portmanteau kind of a thing. That's really excellent. And this, though, is his masterpiece so far. It is absolutely... Oh, I just loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. It starts... Let's just say, yeah, technically, let's go for the technicals. It is a tour de force, technically. It seems like it's in one long take. The camera drifting around with the characters. Very invasive. It's very immersive. See it on a big screen. Don't wait for the TV, I would suggest. It's very immersive to the point where people's faces are sometimes like almost concave, like looking at a concave reflection. Not only a hint of it, but you're right in their conversations. And you want to be in those conversations. They're brilliant conversations. They're the best conversations I've ever heard. So technically it's a tour de force. The camera's sweeping around this theatre where this failed actor, Michael Keaton, is putting on a play, trying to sort of be a Broadway man. And the characters in it, Naomi Watts plays one of the actors, what's that guy's name? Edward Norton, Andrea Riseborough, who else? Zach Galifianakis, him, Zach. They're all in it. All these bloody people are in it. Oh, Emma Stone plays his daughter. Amazing. All of these characters put on so much story in the few minutes that they're given that it's overwhelming. The characters are fantastic. The script is fantastic. Keaton essentially is having a breakdown. He plays this guy called Regan Thompson, who it's kind of meta because he used to play a guy called Birdman. Obviously, Michael Keaton played Batman. And it's sort of meta. It's meta in loads of ways. It's layered in so many ways. So many things about acting. So many things about theatre. So many things about performance. So many things about ego. It's wonderful. There's not a scene that's bad in this film. Every scene is good, which is, that's obvious, isn't it, considering the other statement. But it is, I loved it. I was dazzled by it. It's the bar has been set very high already this year now because of this film. Come and beat it. Come and beat Birdman. It's already up there with the front runners of last year, I would say. I really, really enjoyed it. There were points where I thought, please finish now so that you don't F it up. And they didn't finish then, and I worried. And then you're just going, no, this works as well. This other stuff works as well. All of it works. I thought it was, technically it's brilliant. Dramatically it's brilliant. Keaton is fantastic. He's a dick. And I really felt for him, for his plight. There are wonderful, fantastical things going on. The beginning, honestly, I thought, am I going to enjoy this? Because the camera thing is a bit weird. But I bloody did enjoy it. I absolutely loved it. Bar's been set high. Birdman. Oh, I didn't review Ridley Scott's thing, did I? Exodus. I'm going to say low chair. The wave saved it. The death saved it. Exodus, low chair. This, and you cannot stop me. Birdman. 3 thrones. 3 thrones. That's the maximum I can do. That's all I can give you. That's all I can give. 3 thrones for Birdman. I loved it. I loved it. Anyway. That's enough about Birdman. That's the best bit. That's the best bit. But. Yesterday on DVD, I saw a film called Only Lovers Left Alive, which is from last year. This is directed by Jim Jarmusch, who I don't like. I've never liked any of his films that I've seen. Dead Man, I couldn't get through. Broken Flowers, I didn't like. Night on Earth was patchy, but I essentially didn't like it. And so I came into this, it had good reviews, so I thought, I'll give it a try. And I really liked it. It's about Tom Hiddleston and Tilda Swinton playing 2 very old vampires. They look young, but they're vampires. But they've been around for centuries. And there's this kind of... And they're really bored vampires. There's this ennui all the way through the film where he's kind of thinking about killing himself with a wooden bullet. And it's this it's very, very slow, and it's their life in this. They're sort of musicians. They're very rock stars. They're very rock star-ish. The blood thing, they're always chasing O negative. That's the good stuff, and it's clearly meant to be smack. Essentially, it's an analogy for smack or an allegory for smack use. It reminds me, I need some smack. But it's really, really good. Tilda Swinton's sister turns up and she's a bit of a negative influence, like a bit of a badass vampire. There's not a lot of gore. It's all very poetic. It's all very lovely, but it's very funny. These are two English people, two English bored people just going, like their sister comes in and says, come on, let's go out, and go. And they're vampires, but instead of like going, let's do this, they're like, go away, I am trying to sleep. It's really funny in that way. I enjoyed it a lot. Much more than I thought I would. I think I'm going to buy it. I think I'm going to put it in the collection. I really liked it. Yeah, that'll do. It takes place in Detroit. There's some lovely driving around. It's just very artful, but it's a nice film and it's funny. So that is Only Lovers Left Alive. Jim Jarmusch. And I'm going to give that one throne. That's very good. It was a good one. Now, just to finish off, because I watched it recently, and I haven't done one for a while. The classic from my attic, just because I'm in a bit of a vampire thing at the moment, that's the way the shelf runs, is 30 Days of Night, which is a thrilling, tense, white-knuckle horror ride. And it is! I really like this film. It's only the second time I've seen it. But in a world where everything's Twilight and sort of pants and romantic, this is a bloody horror film where the vampires are real gits. I think they possibly don't have enough personality and their script lines are not that good. And some of it's like basic horror stuff, people hiding in houses, etc. But it's very, very well done, and it's bloody dark. It's bloody and it's dark. Really dark. People crying as they're getting killed. It's dark as bloody hell. It's directed by a guy called David Slade, who also did Hard Candy, which I kind of like as well. But it's shot really nicely. Oh, sorry, I should say 30 Days of Night. They're in this northern Canadian town where it gets dark for 30 days because they're in the Arctic Circle. Obviously, that's a place where vampires go. Of course they do. And they eat people, and they eat them really hungrily, and they scream at them, and they stalk them. They're mean, they're nasty vampires. They're not nice in any way. They enjoy the hunt. They're real scum. And it's good. It's got Josh Hartnett. Where's Josh Hartnett? Where is he? Where is Josh Hartnett? Melissa George, who I love. She's beautiful. Will Hudson. What's his name? Houston. Danny Houston's the head vampire. It's enjoyable, it's dark, it's kind of grim, it's kind of stapley, but it's well made, well shot, decent vampire film. There's some really good sort of Grand Theft Auto shots where they sweep over the town and people are getting killed. It's really, really good fun. 30 Days of Night, worth the watch if you haven't seen it. You may have, it's not that old. What is it? It's not that old. Anyway, it's a few years old, 4 years maybe. But I'm going to give that a throne. I'm not normally going to rate my ones because they all should be at least one throne or more, shouldn't they, if I bought them. Otherwise, I am a plonk. But that's it. That wraps it up. Go and see Birdman. Well, see the other ones that I liked. Ha! Do it. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.